So once again, thank you. Good afternoon. We are excited to talk about the preparation to enroll many of your students for the 21-22 school year here within Twin Rivers. In this case, we'll be talking about transition to kindergarten through 12th grade with our student services staff here in the district office. We're excited. We want to share as much information as possible with you all and answer many of the questions that you might have. Mr. Puente, thank you very much for logging in and welcoming our families. Can you talk about the agenda for today?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rudy Puente. I'm Director of Student Services for Twin Rivers Unified School District. I'm really excited to be here for one of our virtual enrollment meetings. We're going to cover some really great information that we're hoping is going to really help you with that enrollment process. And so I'll briefly go over the agenda today. We're going to go over enrollment at Twin Rivers Unified School District and what that looks like. We're going to talk to you a little bit about what program your child qualifies for, which will have direct discussion around the preschool, transitional kindergarten, as well as the kinder programs. We're going to get into the registration and enrollment. We then are going to talk about the intradistrict and interdistrict transfer process. And I want to remind everybody, there are two very distinct processes. The intradistrict process is essentially open enrollment, and that window is January through March. And so that window's closed, but we're going to tell you again when it'll open up for the upcoming year. We're going to talk about the overflow of students, our Aries online enrollment process. And then we're hoping that we're going to have some time left over so we can talk to you a little bit about maybe some of the questions or things that you still might be wondering about as it relates to enrollment. And then a couple of moments around our closing thoughts and feedback.
Thank you, Mr. Puente. So we want to let you know for our families, as we go throughout this presentation, you could, in this case, provide your messages via the chat. In this case, send your messages. In this case, our student services department staff will be able to respond to the questions you might have. You could also, we want to remind you that we have interpretation in both Spanish and in Pashto. Make sure to select the language. And we will remind you to, if you're listening to interpretation, to mute the original sound. That way you'll be able to listen to the information. And this information is being recorded. That way we could share with you all the information that we're going to go over today.
Thank you.
Oh, and in this case, my name is Heriberto Soto. I work in family community engagement. Much of the information that we've been sending out, obviously, I'm the contact. In this case, but if you have any questions regarding information that has to do with, with our interpretation, we have two contacts there. Paul Barajas, who is our interpreter today in Spanish. And we also have Mr. Thor, who is our Hmong interpreter here within the district. Much of the information now, as we've gone into the 21st century, hopefully we're catching up, is to utilize QR codes so you can access this information by scanning your smartphone, and also shortened URLs. That way you could send much of the information in text messages from the district. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Mr. Puente again to introduce the staff that we have here today to discuss the enrollment process.
Yeah, so we have a variety of folks from our Student Services Department that are here to help you out today. We have Miss Deborah Thorne, and she's an enrollment demographic specialist. She's not going to be here today to be able to present, but we do have staff members that are going to be able to give the information that she's normally able to cover with us, especially around student overflows. And as stated previously, my name is Rudy Puente. I'm our Director of Student Services. We're also hoping to have Miss Robin Ewing join us in a bit. She is having some technical difficulties, but we're hoping to have her on. With that said, I'd like to go and hand it over to Miss Maria so that she can do an introduction.
Miss Maria, you're on mute.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Berrigan. I work here in the Student Services Department, and I'm an administrative clerk bilingual. Also, most of the time, so if you need to talk to talk to someone in Spanish here in the district office, they'll direct you to me. And we will try to assist you in any way we can, if it's in regards to enrollment or any questions you might have.
Anna, can you introduce yourself as well?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna Olasaba Broadbent. I am one of the foster youth liaisons for the district here in Student Services. I mostly work with foster youth coming into our district or within our district and ensuring that they're getting their needs and our families are being assisted when they have a foster youth in their home.
We also want to let you know that we have also Miss Ewing will be here momentarily. We want to remind many of our families, if you have questions and you want to contact our Student Services Department, you could call using the direct number right there and the 916-566-1620. And in this case, you'll be you'll be able to contact it with our Student Services Department staff. And much of the information we have, we'll be able to also share with you via the links and websites that our department has. Mr. Puente, can you talk about many of the resources and helplines that are available for our families as they navigate the whole enrollment process and maybe, the type of supports they might need?
Absolutely, Mr. Soto. I think what we've learned really quickly and have continued to hone the way in which we're creating opportunities for our families to reach into us. And it's really involved a lot around technology, as well as making sure that we have numbers that are available for our families. And so in our English Learner Services Department, they have created a dedicated extension. Simply to reach them, you'll need to dial 916-566-1600, and then you'll punch in the extension 33424. And then within our special education department, they have a dedicated line. That number is 916-566-1617. And their general business hours run from 7:30 a.m. until 4:30 in the evening. And then we'd be remiss if we didn't mention our early childhood education department. They too have a phone line that is dedicated for families to be able to reach them as well. Their number is 916-566-1616. And as you all have become aware of, we are using quite a bit of information technology, especially equipment like laptops and Chromebooks to make sure that our students have access to education. And so our IT help desk has created not only a phone line that the parents can reach them at, it's area code 916-566-7802, but they've also created an email address where a family can simply reach out via email, and that is techsupport@twinriversusd.org. And again, these lines as well as emails are all dedicated to ensure that our families have an opportunity to reach us if they need assistance. Thank you, Mr. Soto.
And we want to remind our families that this information that we have will be shared with you in order to send via the presentation electronically as well. So if you're wondering that we're sending out too many links or too many phone numbers, we promise that since you have logged in and registered, we will be sharing that information with you all as well. One of the things that we want to talk about is that the Student Services has worked with our various other departments in creating an enrollment website to kind of talk about the whole enrollment piece as we move into digital or online. If you visit that link right there, www.twinriversusd.org/enrollment, that will talk to you about the 3 different steps when it comes to enrollment. Also, if you go to the district website, the first thing that comes up, or the second thing that comes up now, because there have been some changes, it says that to enroll now for the 21-22 school year. And within that, it'll go into information about, in this case, either if it's preschool enrollment, if it's TK-12th grade enrollment, or even other programs such as adult school and so on. We also want to let you know, in this case, many families ask, what programs do I qualify for the age or for my programs? So in this case, what we want to tell our families is that if you have children or students who are going to be turning 3 years of age on September 1st of this year, then in this case, they would qualify for preschool and Head Start. If your child is going to be turning 5 years of age on September 2nd to December 2nd and in between, then in that case, they qualify for TK. And then if you have students that are turning 5 years of age already by September 1st of this year and before, then they will qualify for in this case, kindergarten. So just look at those 3 different dates, and that way you know which program your child qualifies. And then we'll go into details a little bit later on as far as what programs qualify for your child as well.
And with that information, we move to the early childhood education preschool and Head Start enrollment. The preschool enrollment or ECE, early childhood education, offers half-day stay preschool, full-day stay preschool, full-day state and infant toddler program. They do have limited space for the infant and toddler program, just to be aware. Head Start preschool and early Head Start. If you have any questions regarding if you meet the qualifications or how to enroll, you'll see our enrollment pre-K at twinrivers.org that you can click on there, and it will take you directly to the preschool department, and you can email them, or you can also contact them at the number provided, 916-566-1616. And there's also a link below if you want to click on the link, and it would take you directly to the preschool enrollment. Okay, and our next step is transitional kindergarten. So TK is a 2-year program. The transitional kindergarten program is the first year of a 2-year kindergarten program. The TK classes are offered, as you can see here below, all the sites that offer TK programs. So it's for, again, any children that turn 5 between September 2nd to December 2nd of the year that you're enrolling the student. All the sites mentioned in the slide offer TK at this point in time for the 21-22 school year. And it's or they're scheduled to offer the program and that site, and it's also based on how many children actually end up getting enrolled at the site. So at this point in time, again, those are the sites that are scheduled to receive that offer a TK program. So the TK program, you will have the opportunity to attend a TK neighboring school site for the first year of which is called transitional kindergarten, and return to their home school for the second year at kindergarten. It's a 2-year program.
And with that being said, I would like to introduce our staff, Ms. Ewing, to go a little bit in detail as far as the registration process. Thank you, Ms. Ewing.
Thank you, Edilberto. There's 3 simple, easy steps in enrolling your child. The first one is when you go into the enrollment app on our website. The first step will be finding your school, and you'll just type in your address, and onto the left-hand column, it'll actually show you the elementary, junior high, and high school. The second step will be your requirements that are involved in enrollment. And then the third step is really wonderful. It only takes 20 minutes to complete this step. So here's the example. When you click on to find your school at the very top, you'll see a place where you insert your address, and automatically to the left, it'll show you the schools that your child will attend depending upon the grade level. Next screen.
And we want to just remind our families that this doesn't apply to charter schools. And then one other thing is that as you log in into the website, it'll tell you whether it's for this current school year, the 2021 school year, or the 21-22 school year, just as a reminder.
So the steps here, once the student is, the steps involved in the enrollment process. There'll be an enrollment form that you'll fill out. For instance, your child's name, address, birth date, parent information. There's also a language survey. A health exam is also required for TK and kindergarten. One of the other items is your proof of address. Of course, the birth certificate as proof of age, and there's also an oral health assessment. Just understand that if your child's already had a physical and already had a health exam, you can actually get a copy from the doctor and the dentist and have those uploaded as your proof for those items. Regarding immunizations for kindergarten and TK, there's 5 doses of diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis, which is called DTP. Those are important, as well as the 4 polios, 3 hepatitis B, 2 MMRs, and also the varicella, the chickenpox, which is 3 doses. And you can see there are some exceptions if your child was given these shots after the 4th birthday. Like for instance, the DTP, they don't need 4 doses instead of 5. For you students that are entering into the 7th grade, that are 6th graders currently, what also is required is the Tdap shot. So I suggest making that appointment early with your doctor to have that all ready to go for 7th grade. On the health exam form, here it shows a copy of what you'll find in the enrollment screens. And again, it's for grades TK through 1st grade only within the first 18 months prior to starting 1st grade or within 90 days thereafter signed and dated by a physician. So once again, this is the form. If you don't happen to have a physical, this is one you could present to the doctor to fill out and then return it along with your uploaded items back to the school. The oral health exam, this is what the form looks like for TK through kindergarten. And you'll have the doctor fill out the middle portion. There is what after the exam, they'll fill out the top portion. The doctor will sign off on the middle portion. And once again, if you've already had an oral exam for your child, you can just upload that as well.
And we want to remind that these health forms, as Ms. Ewing has mentioned, whether it's the oral health or the one that would be for your physician, those are found on the website under the enrollment webpage under kinder registration. And you could download those as PDFs. We also want to let you know that a lot of information regarding immunizations and how to find out what is required for my child at that age. These are 2 great resources that you can find out. One is through the Shots for School. In addition, for those families that need assistance regarding immunizations, the county, through their public health, offers immunization program. In this way, you get access as far as many of the resources that are available. We recommend, obviously, this is by appointment. So calling in or scanning that QR code that you see right there, you'll be able to find out more information. And also, as I proceed along, it's also stored or found in the Health Services Department information as well. We want to let you know that in this case, Twin Rivers has partnered up with Elka Mobile Van to host, in this case, to provide access for many of our students at both Madison and MLK Junior Technology Academy on either Tuesdays and Thursdays. And in this way, you could schedule in appointments to meet many of these requirements, whether it's physicals, whether dental health checks, whether it's immunizations as well. We also want to, stress the importance of early smiles, which provides, in this case, access for students who need dental checkups and much services that are needed within the community. And Sacramento Covered is also another program in itself that provides many of these resources for our families when it comes to health access as well. So in this case, there's many resources are found within the community, and our hope is to make sure that, in this case, provide these type of services for our families. These forms, we want to let you know, are found in the health services department website. So in this case, if you scan that QR code that you see right there in the corner, or the website links, you're able to access that information. In this case, if your child has, in this case, some sort of medical challenges, whether or taking medication or just want to make sure that a school site is aware of the fact that they need certain special medicinal or just things to be aware of. There's these forms also found on the website that could be provided and completed by your family, in this case, your families or parent and guardian, and then shared with the school site as well. If you have any questions, you can contact our health services at the direct line that you see right there, the 916-566-1787.
And that would take us to our intra-district open enrollment information. An intra-district transfer is when a parent is requesting another school that they live in our district, and they're requesting another school other than the home school of residence for their student or their child. It is approved based on space availability, and transportation is not provided. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. And so this process takes place every year, starting in January to the middle of March. For the 21-22 school year, the intra-open enrollment process already passed. So all notices will be going out to the families before by June to see if they were approved or denied on their request. And again, these approvals or denials are subject to space availability, okay? When, if a parent disagrees with the decision, again, you can contact us at Student Services at 916-566-1620. Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear. Sorry. Okay, and then also this is regarding the interdistrict application process. That's when we are your homeschool district and you're requesting to transfer out of Twin Rivers District. The process is between districts. So if you're leaving our district and going to a different district, or if you're coming in from a different district to our district. You'll also find my email on the right-hand side corner, which is maria.berrigan@twinriversusd. We have also provided a mailing address for your convenience. So you can either mail the application, email the application. If you are gonna email it, please make sure they're nice visible copies, since we do have to scan them to the receiving district in order for them to be able to read all the information as well. And then the process again starts at your home school district. So if you're coming to Twin Rivers and your district is another district, then you start the process at that district. If we are your district and you're trying to go to a different district, you start the process at in our district. And as you can see below on the left-hand side corner, the link or the website page where you would find the application at www.twinriversusd.org and /enrollment. If you also have any further additional questions, again, you're always welcome to give us a call at 916-566-1620, we have provided an email there, stud.service@twinriversusd.org, if you would like to email us. Please do not email the actual application to the student services email. The applications need to be emailed directly to my email, which is maria.berrigan. That student services email is just in case you have any additional questions and you would like to email there, or you can also email me directly if you have questions. And we're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4:30 p.m.
Anna, can you talk about foster youth services and how this might come up in the enrollment application for many of our families as they do the online enrollment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Soto. In the enrollment application, if you have a youth or a student who is living in your home, in order to qualify for foster youth services, there has to be an open dependency case with the court. In the enrollment application, there is a supplemental question that asks you if the student is a foster youth. If at that point you can say yes, there are things that myself and my co-liaison, Ms. Tiffany Hunt, can do to assist you in enrolling your youth and making sure that we get all the necessary paperwork to ensure that they start school in a timely manner. Our information is at the bottom of this screen. If you can see it, we are happy to answer questions, or if you're not sure if the youth that is living with you qualifies for foster youth services, we'd be happy to help you with that as well.
Thank you, Ms. Rosaba Broadbent. And then one of the questions that you see right there too is regarding residency as far as your status when it comes to housing. And with that, Mr. Puente will be talking about what the work is or involved from our child welfare and attendance staff here within the district as well.
Yes, thank you. That is a really great segue to our child welfare and attendance information. Our team within child welfare and attendance, they really are working to promote positive and an engaging school climate. And they know that that starts with regular school attendance. And so what they really want to do is work with families to remove barriers from school attendance. So they really try to connect families who might be struggling with attendance of no fault of their own, so that they can have resources that will assist them to ensure that students are able to get to school. And really it revolves around assisting our homeless families and then just addressing any other concerns related to regular school attendance. And so we've got a great team. We have two child welfare and attendance coordinators, Takendra White. She oversees our Grant and Rio Linda region, and she can be reached at takendra.white@twinriversusd.org, as well as Darren Greer. He covers the Foothill Farms North Highlands region, and he can be reached at darren.greer@twinriversusd.org. In addition to that, we have some additional support folks that work within our child welfare and attendance office. They are student engagement specialists, and that's Becky Campora, Sherry Canfield, Jackie Cunningham, and Carol Seward. And they really work to assist to make sure that families are getting the needed resources. It can be everything from deliveries to connecting families with certain types of resources that might be available out in the community. So if you ever need to reach our child welfare and attendance team, you can reach them directly at area code 916-566-1615. And in addition to that, if you're curious to learn more about their services, maybe you know someone who might need some support, or maybe you yourself are wondering, hey, I need some help here. You can access their website at the link below so that you can see what they can offer to support you. With that said, I'd like to hand it back over to you, Mr. Soto. Oh, I apologize. The other piece that I wanted to cover is that we have also our CWA services. So as I talked about previously, the McKinney-Vento Act really speaks to homeless assistance. It really surrounds our homeless children and youth. And these are students who typically will not have a fixed or regular nighttime residence. We have a questionnaire that we send out to our families, and it's really important that we get this completed on a yearly basis And again, we do that on a yearly basis. This form helps to ensure that if a family is in need of assistance, that we get that support out to them. And you'll see below that you can access the information as well as call our CWA team at area code 916-566-1615. And on that note, I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Soto.
So we're going to hand it off to Maria.
There we go.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Okay, so we have an overflow procedure, and that's usually an overflow is when a student from K through 8th grade, and even TK from who there's no room in the student's residence school at the time of registration, then the student gets overflow to the next available school that has space for the student. In those cases, transportation will be provided for the student if the student has to leave their home school of residence and move to a next available site that has space. Action is taken when the class sizes exceed the limit that are affected by the class size and funding or the contracting obligations that they have. Overflows are, again, based on a first come, first serve basis. We try to make sure that we place as many students as we can possibly in the school of residence. But again, in situations, they might end up being overflow close to the next closest school. We also have provided, we do have a pamphlet that you guys can look up in our district website. As you can see in the link below, twinriversusd.org/enrollment, where it gives more detailed information regarding transportation or any additional questions or concerns that you may have regarding your student being overflowed to a different site.
Please. And so with that, one of the many changes that have been going on the last year has been the process of doing the enrollment online. In this case, as you go click on this, as many people have asked, and I'm looking at some of the messages, is this would be for students that are going to be entering either TK or kindergarten, let's say for the 21-22 school year, if that's their school for the first year. If there are students already enrolled in our school, so let's say if they're in TK and kindergarten, or they're in 4th grade, they already are enrolled within the district, and so they wouldn't need to re-enroll again. And students who are, let's say in this case, preschool students, in this case, they would obviously need to enroll for TK or kindergarten because they'll be within a whole different application system. So with that, let's look at the application. So typically as you go, we've been talking about the Roman website. And so this is what it looks like. And one of the things that it tells you is that, obviously charter schools have a whole different application process. It says here, please do not use this application if your child is already enrolled in Twin Rivers. In this case, if they're enrolled in a TK to 12th grade program. As Ms. Ewing and some others talked about, there's a way to find out what school pertains to your home address. There are the requirements based on immunizations, based on other documents that are required, and then enroll now, which would be the areas on enrollment. So typically, this is what it'll look like. Areas online enrollment talks about, it also notifies, the students who are in elementary, either at 6th grade and are going to go into junior high school into 7th grade, or students who are already in junior high school and are going to go to high school. And in this case, they would not need to complete the online enrollment because they would go naturally to the home school that is assigned to them based on your home address. So this talks about the processes for enrollment. It talks about the option of either completing the form either in English or Spanish. And then it would also talk about, to enroll. So in this case, this is me. I'm Heriberto Soto, and this is my email address. I always like to promote FACE here within the district. So in this case, this is sort of how the information will look like. Typically, the first part, general student, talks about information that it would be from, in this case, yourself. When you start the application, it'll ask you whether you're enrolling for this current school year or the next, for the 21-22 school year. Right there, and then it will also ask you for your address. So based on your address, it will tell you also too, like what is your home school assigned. So this is information you would include for your student, and then you would save right here. The next part right there would be the language information, as Ms. Ewing has talked about. So in this case, this information as far as having to do with the survey that is being asked, what language was spoken in the household, and so on. But let me see if I could do a little quick little, and then parent information is being asked. Whether there's any court documents, restraining orders, or as far as guardianship and so on. Whether physician information from your doctors, who's your doctor, primary information. In case of an emergency, who could they contact? Health survey, immunization information. So in this case, could be documents that you have either taken as a PDF or as a photo, and you can upload those documents from your computer. And then there's also other, if their student had been enrolled in other schools or other school districts before coming into Twin Rivers. And then documents would be, and let's look at documents really quickly. Documents talk about what are in this case, the ones that are required from the district. So in this case, these are books that, talks about the handbook for students who are new to the district, the use of technology, as far as, with the housing questionnaire that we had talked about briefly, and so on. And these are ones that obviously you will click and saying that you have read and acknowledge the fact that you have seen these documents as well. We also want to let you know too, as you scroll down, there's a document you go upload. So in this case, the documents would be either birth certificate, proof of address, immunizations. These could be uploaded either as a PDF, which is like a document that in some cases you could complete, or sorry, you can either scan, or ones that are given to you from Kaiser, if you download the immunizations, or you can also take photos and upload those documents. And then it goes into detail as far as much of the information that is being asked. And if you see here, students who are going to be enrolled into secondary, they ask for the transcripts as well. And then any documents I saw in the chat asking about special education. This is the same enrollment process. And here you could upload documents such as IEPs that have been completed, depending if it was like in preschool or they're already going into the district. So that's also helpful for our school staff to know. And then you would just click on the link and then upload that document. So at the end, let's see if I could go. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see if that works. Let me see how it looks like. So at the end, once you completed the application, it would go. Oh, I guess it went away. So when you complete at the end, it'll say, is your information all complete? You verify it, and then once you, let's see, let me log in again. Hopefully, I log in. There's my information. Let's see if it works as well. So this tells me this is my for my student. He's a really good student. His name is Twin Rivers. He's assigned to Del Paso. This is information that is given based on the information that I have provided. It automatically assigns what school is my home school and what grade is based on my age. Here is the general information that I have provided about the student, language that is asked, parent guardian contact. If obviously if you have two parent guardians contacts, then please add both. And then any health information would be really useful. Emergency contacts in case anybody needs any help with contacting people. And here's information about documents that have uploads, questions if they ask if there's any, as far as permanent housing or if your student is a foster youth. And then you would finish and submit. and then you will get a confirmation. So that is a little bit about the online enrollment application. Like I mentioned, that is found when you go visit, if you visit the district website, I'm looking right here. The second page will say enroll now, click read more. That will direct you to this page. And then you click on enrollment. And then that way you can start the enrollment process. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna go back and go. And so we're gonna go into our questions and answers. I see that Mr. Puente or any of our student services staff, what have been some of the questions that have been asked? I guess I haven't really had a chance to see. And then I see somebody had raised their hand and we'll answer the question as well.
All right, so it looks like here with Miss Claudia Bravo, she is asking, good afternoon, my daughter will be going to 7th grade in Twin Rivers, and I am a little bit confused with the enrollment process. Where do I need to begin with enrollment? I think Miss Broadbent answered that question already. And so what I would like to share with the audience, because it's a similar question that's been asked, if your student is currently enrolled in a Twin Rivers program, they will automatically enroll into their next grade level, as well as their next school residence that they've been slotted for. Unless, of course, you're participating in the intra-open enrollment process, that will obviously shift them to your open enrollment approval program. But again, you'll automatically enroll into that next grade level and the next school program. There's nothing that you need to do on your end at this point. I would like to inform the audience that starting in July, we're going to be doing what's called data confirmation. So for those families that you've already done the online enrollment process, you've completed it, your students, maybe they've already been enrolled in Twin River schools for a number of years. Next year, once that rollover occurs, you simply will need to do data confirmation. And what that's going to look like is you'll receive a notice to go in to your parent portal account and essentially confirm your data. So if you've not moved, you have the same residence and all the information is the same, you just simply go in and you confirm. And we've timed that process. It generally takes about 7 minutes for someone to complete that process. Of course, if you have more information to update, it might take you a little bit longer, but generally it's going to be around 7 minutes to complete that data confirmation process. Let's see here. I think it looks like here we got to just about all the questions. I wanted to ask our team, is there any question that you see that we're missing, or does anyone have their hand up that we haven't asked yet?
One of the questions that I saw in the registration forms was regarding families who might not have the shot records or have maybe some missing information regarding to complete the application, for either TK or transition to kindergarten or kindergarten or any of the other grades. What would student services department staff recommend for families who maybe need some additional support or documents that are missing, things that would maybe as far as not complete the whole application process?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. I think I saw Ms. Broadbent answer this question earlier. I think she captured it really well. And so if you're running into an issue where maybe you're missing a document or you're struggling with getting a hold of maybe something like an immunization record or just even having difficulty uploading that, we really would encourage you to reach out to the school program that you're enrolling in. And the front office staff are really working to make appointments to help support families in the enrollment process. And that includes obtaining records. We have a number of health professionals that are assigned to our school programs, basically for the purpose of helping to obtain school records in many cases. And so they can help you out with that and really help to support getting that done. Now, I'd love to tell you that that's something that would happen really quickly, but it can take a bit of time. So the sooner that you get to that enrollment process, the more likely you're going to be prepared for your student to start on that first day. And I think, Mr. Soto, we've got about 8 minutes left here. I think we've gotten to all the questions in the chat. Just kind of think, definitely want to thank everyone for coming today. I really do appreciate it. More importantly, I really want to thank Mr. Soto so much for coordinating these events. He's put a lot of work through family and community engagement to ensure that we put out really good quality to our families. Again, thank you very much to our student services staff who made time today to also be here to help out with supporting this presentation. And then again, this would not have been possible if not for our interpreters today, who've done an excellent job to ensure that we provide quality language services for all of our families throughout the district. With that said, Mr. Soto, I'd like to hand it over to you for any final word for the audience today.
So we want to remind our families that much of the information that we have shared with you today, we'll be sending it out via email to the information that was provided. We want to let you know that much of the information that we're sharing, obviously it's important to find out what's going on within the district, either through the district website, many of our social media accounts. Much information is provided within those accounts to inform our families and our community of what's going on within Twin Rivers. We appreciate your time and your presence today. What I'll do probably later this week, I'm going to send out an email with information, with the bit.ly, as far as providing your feedback. We always hope, in this case, whether or not we have answered your questions, we always want to improve the work that we're doing. So in this case, if you want to provide we'll send this out survey that will ask you 5 questions, such as, how did you find out about this event? Regarding how can we improve the information that we're sharing? And then if you know any families that are in need of enrollment, obviously, these series are going to be going for another 2 more sessions. And so in 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about TK-12th grade enrollment on the same Thursday at 3 o'clock. If you know any families that need preschool enrollment, we'll be doing those on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock as well. And then, as always, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate many of the questions that have been asked, and we're here to support many of you as you navigate the enrollment process. And as Mr. Puente mentioned, we appreciate all the work and the help that Ms. Broadbent, Ms. Barragan, Ms. Ewing, and both of our interpreters as well today. So with that, I believe this is the end of the slides. So that means that's the end of the presentation. And so we thank you very much. We appreciate your attendance, and we wish you all a good day, and we hope to talk to you soon.